Good morning, dear students. You've heard this before. Yet again we connect today and discuss very important gurus and stars of Kathak. While many learn an art form, you, only few become its main benchmarks. Benchmarks are people who become the milestones. These few in each generation stand out from hundreds who learn and earn from the art form. The phenomena of attaining stardom itself is a long drawn or uncertain, but some beget it easily or instantly. Gurus were earlier not interested in teaching at all. They chose to teach only a handful who were totally committed to them and the art form. Since they did not teach for money, they could be selective and thus ensure quality. Today, we have gurus, we have teachers who are interested in many students worldwide, but we don't have real gurus who are only interested in teaching and not earning as it was 100 years ago. We can easily divide gurus and stars in the last century, 100 years, generation wise. For instance, the first generation of gurus was not even in the market as they are now, which means they didn't have to live in cities, but they lived in their villages. They did not even need to earn name or fame or money. These gurus were just art lovers and art intensive and wished to be immersed in it fully. Tapasya. Some got lucky that they had royal patrons and support of zamindars or courts. In this phase, we can think of Lucknow gurus, forefathers of Kalka Bindadin under Wajid Ali Shah, whose reign was short but his achievements were tremendous. With their patronage, they developed a distinct style of Kathak, today known popularly as the Lucknow Gharana. Wajid Ali Shah, who reigned from 1847 to 56, was devoted to Ras and dressed up as Krishna and played the role of Krishna in court. Based on this, he created the operatic form Rahas, a form of Kathak that Rahas dovetailed with and Ras partook of. He was also literary giant, having written scores of compositions and 2 lasting books, Najjo and Bunny, both pertaining to Kathak technique and poetry. Several sketches detail each instance and position of Kathak body, and in doing these treatises, the king also saved and shared with posterity the early evolutionary stages of Lucknow branch of Kathak. He authored Saut al-Mubarak. These books showed how the form evolved in courts and how teachers of repute came from far and helped the king document a style which was a synthesis of Hindu and Muslim cultures. Wajid Ali Shah was himself very involved with all arts and is credited with the creation of Thumri, a form of music and poetry that can be easily used for dancing Kathak and singing. A gifted composer, Diwan-e Husn-e Akhtar, contain his ghazals. He is said to have composed many new ragas too. We then think of Pandit Achhan Maharaj, 1893 to 1946 in Rampur, then Delhi. He trained many and can be hailed as a fountainhead, since his 2 illustrious brothers and son also excelled themselves in the art form. The eldest son of Kalka Prasad, he was trained by his father and uncle Bindadin. He served for a long time as court dancer at Rampur, Raigad, some other states of North India, and returned to Lucknow. Years later, when Kathak had fallen into disrepute, Achhan Maharaj was brought to Delhi by Kapila Vatsyan and Nirmala Joshi. He started teaching, and with his 10-year-old son Birju, charmed the connoisseurs of Delhi. Both Bindadin and Achhan Maharaj were gifted with phenomenal capacity to evoke and project emotion and feelings in both dancing and singing. His brother Lachu Maharaj 1907 to 1978 went to Mumbai to seek his fortune in films, where he made significant contribution to Hindi film choreography. Lachu Maharaj was famous for his bhav. The first main film using story of a dancer, a courtesan, Anarkali, was Mughal-e-Azam 1960, in which K. Asif used Madhubala, who danced mostly Kathak, composed by Lachu Maharaj and Shambhu Maharaj. Mughal-e-Azam enchanted audiences with its majestic sets, elaborate dance sequences and soulful music. The dance sequences featuring Madhubala and hundreds of junior artists took the audience breath away. Pakiza was another film choreographed by Pandit Lachu Maharaj with elaborate Kathak dance sequences. Shambhu Maharaj ji, 1904 to 1970, was the youngest of the three famous sons of Kalka Prasad ji. As he had passion for music, he learned Thumri and Khayal from Ustad Rahimuddin. At the invitation of Nirmala Joshi, the founding secretary of Sangeet Natak Academy, he moved to Delhi in 1955, where he taught Kathak at the fledgling Bharatiya Kala Kendra set up by Sumitra Charataram. He was an able teacher and trained many gifted dancers like Maya Rao, her sister Chitra Venugopal, Bela Arnab and Kumudni Lakhya. Shambhu Maharaj had extraordinary command over bhava. He also devised the courtly style of sitting and performing, which made it less hurried and more elegant. He made efforts to revive the use of Ashtapadi, certain thumris and bhajans and other Nritya pieces in Kathak. Birju Maharaj ji was initially trained by his father Achar Maharaj ji and later by his uncle Shambhu Maharaj ji. He taught for many years at Bharatiya Kala Kendra, Delhi, and was head of faculty and director at Kathak Kendra. Birju Maharaj ji uplifted Kathak to great heights with his Kathak dance dramas. As a creative choreographer, he has given Kathak dance a new dimension through his fascinating group compositions. He retired in 1998, after which he opened his own dance school, Kala Ashram, in Delhi. He is a versatile artist, a vocalist, percussionist, music composer, poet and painter. Birju Maharaj has also contributed to Kathak in films. He directed dance, composed music and sung playback for two classical dance sequences in the film like the Chess Players or Shatranj Ke Khiladi made by Satyajit Ray. He has done choreography for films Dil To Pagal Hai, Gadar, Devdas and Vishwarupam. Then we have gurus in Banaras Gharana, Pandit Sukhdev Maharaj, Sitara Devi, Gopi Krishan and Pandit Hazari Lal. Pandit Sukhdev Maharaj was a dancer and Sanskrit scholar who researched Natya Shastra and was a Kathak dancer teacher, a member of the Royal Court of Nepal, and his wife Matsya Kumari was related to the Nepal royal family. In the 1920s, Sukhdev Maharaj met Tagore, who encouraged him to revive Kathak and elevate it to a dignified status. Sukhdev Maharaj introduced reforms to revive Kathak by including religious elements, unlike what the Nautch girls did, and it slowly became popular. He also taught Kathak to his daughters Alokananda, Tara, Dhanno, later called Sitara Devi, and sons Chaube and Pandey. They returned to Varanasi and set up a dancing school where the daughters of the local prostitutes were also admitted, and Sukhdev Maharaj battled social ostracism to popularize Kathak. Sitara Devi, 1920 to 2014, trained under her father Sukhdev Maharaj, Banaras Gharana and in Lucknow Gharana. Rabindranath Tagore described her as Nritya Samragini, meaning the Empress of Dance, after watching a performance when she was just 16 years old. She drew from the themes, poetry and choreography collected by her father in her choreographies and was inspired from the environment around her. Sitara Devi also acted in a few films at a young age but gave it up to concentrate on Kathak. Her dances were so popular that the film posters even highlighted dances by Sitara Devi. Gopi Krishna, 1935 to 1994. Gopi Krishna was born into a family of Kathak dancers. His mother Tara was the sister of Sitara Devi. When he was 11 years old, Gopi Krishna began training under his grandfather Sukhdev Maharaj. He also learned from Shambhu Maharaj. In 1952, 17 years old Gopi Krishna became one of the youngest choreographers in Hindi film history when he was hired to choreograph dances for Madhubala in Saki. In 1955, he appeared as dancer actor in his first film, Jhanak Jhanak Payal Baje, that is filled with Gopi Krishna's dances. He choreographed for many films like Grahasthi, 1963, Dastan, Mehbooba, Umrao Jaan, Nache Mayuri, and The Perfect Murder. His choreography was often punctuated with sharp transitions, numerous chakras, and frenetic pace of movements, inspired particularly by Kathak. During the 1960s and 70s, he toured India's border posts, entertaining soldiers with Sunil Dutt's Ajanta Arts cultural troupe. Gopi Krishna later established the Nateshwar Nritta Mandir in Mumbai. Pandit Hazarilal of Punjab Gharana used to teach at Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan in Bombay. He married his disciple Sunaina and settled in Bombay and taught many. Sunaina is the director of Natwari Dance Academy. Pandit Hazarilal was a distinguished lineage and has contributed significantly to the understanding of this Gharana. Next come the stalwarts of Jaipur Gharana, Sundar Prasad ji, Narayan Prasad ji, Devilal ji and Durgalal ji. Guru Sundar Prasad, 1891 to 1970, trained under his father Chuni Lal and the finer intricacies of the art form from Maharaja Bindadin of Lucknow. In the 1930s, he started Bindadin School of Kathak in Bombay and spent 20 years there training disciples like Mohan Rao Kalyanpurkar, Puvaiya sisters, Shireen Wajifdar, Menaka, Sohanlal, Hiralal and Roshan Kumari. In 1958, he joined Shri Ram Bharati Kala Kendra at Delhi and trained several dancers like Maya Rao, Uma Sharma, Urmila Nagar, Durga Lal, Kumudni Lakhia and Shovna Narayan. Guru Narayan Prasad was the youngest son of Hanuman Prasad of Jaipur. From age 8, he started training under his father and uncle Hari Prasad and became a talented child artist. He had equal command over Laya and Bhava and was at ease presenting Layakaris in difficult talas. Among the dancers of the Jaipur school, he was a master of Shringar Rasa. He played the tabla and pakhawaj and was an excellent singer. A devotee of Krishna, he composed many kavits and tumris based on Krishna Leela. He trained many dancers. Devilal, 1942 to 1976. Came from a family of musicians in Rajasthan and had his initial lessons under his father Pandit Omkar Lal. He studied Kathak under Pandit Sundar Prasad, Shambhu Maharaj and Birju Maharaj. He toured extensively as a dancer and instrumentalist. His untimely death robbed the world of a promising and accomplished Kathak artist. Durga Lal, 1948 to 1990, was initiated into the art by his father Omkar Lal. He learnt Jaipur Gharana Kathak from his brother Devi Lal and Pandit Sundar Prasad. He learnt Pakhavaj from Pandit Purushottam Das. He had a long association with Shri Ram Bharati Kala Kendra as student and artist. He later taught at Kathak Kendra and trained students like Uma Dogra, Nandini Singh, Harish Rawat, Sharmishta Pranab Mukherjee, Smriti Mishra, Rakhi Dheer, Jayant Kastur. In Baroda, the contributions of the Gangani family to the Jaipur style continues over generations. Guru Kundalal Gangani, although lived in Delhi, originated also from Churu, Bikaner region and was briefly in Baroda. Belonged to a traditional family of Kathakars. With brother Sundarlal, he spent initial professional years in Baroda, then moved to Delhi. He learnt from his uncle Narayan Prasad. He taught at Shri Ram Bharati Kala Kendra and later Kathak Kendra. He trained many exemplary disciples like Urmila Nagar, Shovna Narayan, Prerna Shrimali, Ashish Khokar, Rajendra Gangani, who continues his work after him. Pandit Sundarlal Gangani, 1929 to 2013, was a person of very high merit. His compositions suggested a very scholarly vision. He settled in Baroda in 1951, began teaching at MS University of Baroda at the invitation of Mohan Khokar and came from Meerut to Baroda and was the first person to bring Kathak into university teaching. Guru Sundarlal gave a new dimension to Kathak, Kathak in Rashi, Kathak in grammar and Kathak in mathematics. The Rashis or sunsets of famous characters from the Ramayana were woven into kavits. It is quite a challenge to create such compositions in rhythm and then to set the dance to them. Similarly, he played with the alphabet and grammar, creating kavits starting with each letter of the Ka, Barakhari to invoke images from Krishna's life, or using the letters Ra, Ra, Ri, Ri, etc. or some other selection of the alphabet. And then there were the numbers. He brought out the different nature of the numbers and created compositions suiting each one Another unique composition was the Ashtanayika, in which the Nayikas are described succinctly in just one line each. While Sundarlal molded in his 39 years at the university, from where he retired as a reader in 1989, a large number of students who perform across the world, perhaps the credit went more to the university than to the maestro. Amongst his well-known students are Anjani Ambegaonkar, Pratibha Pandit, Nargis Katpitia, and many others who continued in his mold. His sons Harish Gangani and Jagdish Gangani carry forward the father's legacy as teachers and dance department MS University of Baroda. Jagdish Gangani has established the Kathak Darshan Charitable Trust in Baroda. The modern day city gurus Maya Raoji, Kumudini Lakhia and Pratap Pawar are all national, pan-Indian and international. Maya Rao, 1928 to 2014, had a flair for dancing, but born and brought up in orthodox middle-class family where elders did not permit their daughters to learn dancing. When she was 12 years old, she watched Uday Shankar perform with his large troupe of musicians and dancers at the BRV Theatre in Bangalore, and this performance left an indelible impression in her young mind. She got a dance scholarship to study Kathak for 4 years at the Bharati Kala Kendra in Delhi under Shambhu Maharaji, who joined as its first guru in January 1955. She was the first Indian lady to be selected by the Government of India for the prestigious USSR Cultural Scholarship in Choreography. In August 1964, she started the Natya Institute of Choreography in Delhi. In 1987, the Natya Institute of Kathak and Choreography in Bangalore, which was India's first and only college offering a 3-year BA degree in choreography, was also established with the assistance of Government of Karnataka. Her daughter, Madhu Natraj, and her students continue her legacy. Then we have Kumudini Lakhia, along with Birju Maharaj, who introduced group choreographies in Kathak, which was traditionally a solo dance form. She is known for her interpretation of Kathak, combining purely classical movements with contemporary aesthetics. She began her career dancing with Ram Gopal as he toured the West, then became a dancer and choreographer in her own right. A minimal approach to costumes, lighting and set design has given her work a sophisticated elegance. It was her passion to give a scientific meaning to the Kathak movements. She founded the Kadam School of Dance and Music in Ahmedabad in 1967 and has done more than 70 successful productions all over the world. Daksha Seth, Aditi Mangaldas, Maulik Shah, Vaishali and Prashant Shah are some of her prime disciples. Pratap Pawar, popularly known as India's divine dancer, is the first disciple of Birju Maharaj. He was initiated into Kathak by Maya Rao. His initial inspiration came from Vinod Chopra, whose dance items for Bombay films were a major hit with youngsters like Pratap. He joined Bharati Kala Kendra in 1960 and performed in several productions. After several performance tours, he served as staff artist of the Kathak Kendra before migrating to England in 1980. Pawar's works range from classical Kathak to contemporary fusion, from solo performance to group dance drama. Pawar has undertaken a lot of work in bringing together different cultures by blending Indian dance with flamenco, Caribbean, modern dance. Gurus are not made but born. Becoming a star is a matter of fate, hard work and good luck. Many dancers shine like stars and some fall like shooting stars. Many become stars overnight due to film or show, and then many struggle long before becoming a real one. Stardom in classical dance has no method. It is a chance and often now media exposure and political support. Of late, it is purely patronage and power backed with spunk. In earlier days, it was substance, foundation and Guru's grace. We see in each generation some 2 or 3 names only dominate and attorning stardom. This is natural to all forms. Bharatanatyam had the same phenomena, as did Odissi. In most classical forms where solo dance is important, only 3 or 4 names in each generation come to forefront as main exponents. In first generation, we saw Madam Menaka, Sadhana Bose and Shambhu Maharaj. Madam Menaka established her own dance troupe in 1934 in Mumbai and started dance classes at her residence. She discarded traditional Kathak lyrics and took the help of trained musicians to create orchestral ensembles, a break from the traditional way Indian music was played. Thus, her productions were a clever merger of traditionalism and innovation. At Berlin Olympics in July 36, Menka had a group participated in the Dance Olympiad for 2 days, and first 3 prizes were won by Menka, Ram Narayan and Gauri Shankar. This international recognition for Kathak helped boost the popularity of the dance form. Sadhana Bose was popular as a glamorous heroine of the silver screen in the 1930s and 40s. She even sang her own songs in some of her films, including her first Ali Baba. An English version of her best-known film, Raj Nartaki, was distributed in the USA as The Court Dancer. In Next Generation, we saw stars like Sitara Devi, Damayanti Joshi and Roshan Kumari. Damayanti Joshi, 1928 to 2004, was the chosen protege of Madame Menka, who adjusted and adopted her as a daughter when she was 4. Damayanti also trained in the Lucknow Gharana and was a successful solo artist. She danced and toured the world in Menka's troupe from the time she was 5, and by 15, she had already performed at all major cities of Europe. Damayanti's entire dancing career was centered on the concern to make Kathak a dance performed outside the court. Roshan Kumari, an exponent of Jaipur Gharana, has danced in films Varis 1954, Basant Vihar 1957. She runs the Nritya Kala Kendra at Mumbai from 1977. In Parinita, Hindi 1953, Roshan Kumari and Gopi Krishna gave a dazzling duet performance. Then we saw stars of the form like Maya Rao, Birju Maharaj and Kumudini Lakhia. Some of their students who attained stardoms are Saraswati Sen, Shobna Narayan, Rani Karna and Pandit Durgalal. In the Next Generation, we saw Daksha Seth, Aditi Mangaldas and Shobna Jai Singh. In recent years, we saw new stars of the form rise like Anuj Mishra, the son of Pandit Arjun Mishra, Tushar Bhatt and Prashant Shah. Shobna Narayan has produced international collaborative works with leading dancers of Western classical ballet, Spanish flamenco, tap dance, Buddhist chants and Buddhist monks, as well as composition of Western classical composers. Aditi Mangaldas is today recognized for her artistry, technique, eloquence and characteristic energy that mark every performance. Like her guru, she has attempted to break new ground by using her knowledge and experience of Kathak as a springboard to evolve a contemporary dance vocabulary infused with the spirit of classical. Daksha Seth decided to experiment outside the dance form's boundaries and drew from her experience in Kathak, Chau, Kalari Payatu and Malakhamb to combine tradition with contemporary Indian dance. Once one becomes a star, one has to work harder to maintain it. Thus, stardom is first level, maintaining it for long is next. Being a star also means one needs to be an example and matter in larger scheme of things. It also becomes important to mentor and pass on the art form. Thus, today's gurus and stars have a lot of responsibility.